Legendary moment right here with the legend himself, man, the wizard, K-Rino in the house.
Man, crazy, man.
Been a long time coming right here.
Yeah, long time coming, man.
That's right, man. This is epic right here, man. You know, when it comes down to 50 years of hip hop, and hip hop just here in Houston in general, and it's National Hip Hop Month right now, it's no other greater person to be in this building than the man himself, man. Salute to K-Rino for stopping by 97.9 The Box, baby.
More love, respect. How you doing, Queen?
How are you? Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here.
Thank y'all for having me.
Woo.
Blessed and honored to be here.
Jessica Jeanz with the Late Night Hustle, supporting the independent, the underground, local, and Latino hip hop. And we are celebrating the 50 years of hip hop. And of course, this is National Hip Hop Month. So we're going to touch on all of the elements of hip hop when it comes to the B-boy, the DJ, the graffiti artist, and of course, the rap, the art of rap. And right here to tell it to us, the legendary of SPC South Park Coalition, we have K-Rino in the building.
Blessed and honored. Blessed. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with y'all on the show, and especially with this topic that we covering. So I thank y'all for having me on.
Man, so, you know, tell us about, you know, the beginnings of what it was like here in Houston, and, you know, the art of rap and what that was like.
Yeah, just picture being inside of a room that has no lights. It's nighttime. You can't see where you're walking. You don't know what's going on. You just feeling your way around. That's what rap was like in the beginning in Houston, because people are asked about the rap scene. It wasn't a scene. Wasn't no rap scene. It was just a handful of guys and females that were trying to just do it because we had heard the early pioneers from the East Coast doing it. I can speak for myself. I never was thinking about making a record. I never was thinking about doing this professionally at that time. It was just a hobby that was fun to do. So, but they did have some OGs who came before us that was putting it down and really laid that foundation. People like Wicked Cricket. You know, we can't never forget about the OG Wicked Cricket, who was really the root of this thing in the city of Houston, and Jazzy Red and Lester Sir Pace and Captain Jack and guys like that. So there was so many that was starting it early on, just participating in the scene. But for the most part, we were just having fun. We didn't know what we was doing.
Yeah. So you coming in it, and like you said, feeling your way around. What drove you to hip hop, and what drove you to rap, and why did you feel like this was something that you needed to step your foot in and make a mark?
You know, the early mainstream records that were played on the radio from Rapper's Delight, Curtis Blow, These Are the Breaks, things like that, Run DMC, Hard Times. Those are the songs that actually made it to the airwaves and made myself, and I'm sure a whole lot of other people from that time, fall in love with rap. So when we heard those people, Grandmaster Flash and The Message and all that, it made us try a hand at it. Like I said, we didn't know if we would do it or pursue it professionally, but we was gonna give it a try. So we jumped in, and but what happened was, a couple of years later, we started getting good at it. It's like, okay, you know what, wait a minute, I'm kind of all right. You know, so more rappers popping up, we battle rapping, going head to head, getting in talent shows and all that. And once we started to do that, then a light started to come on and make us feel that like we had a chance to maybe pursue it a little further than we originally planned to.
And what made, for you, in your opinion, Houston or even Texas just a little bit different than the East Coast?
Well, you know, you got to start with the slang, first of all. You know, we were always viewed as the down south country talking folks. So the first thing that would distinguish us from anybody else would just be the slang. That's the way we talk, the way we spoke. And many of us, I could say early on, a lot of rappers early on did try to emulate that New York accent, but majority was staying true to who we was. If we said, if we was talking about a dog, we gonna say dog. We talking about something on the wall, we gonna say the wall. You know, y'all. So we rap how we talk, and I think that was the difference. But on a business side, the biggest difference was the fact that a lot of the labels on the East and West Coast, they wouldn't sign us because of the things I mentioned earlier. So we started putting our music out independently. And when we started putting our music out on our own, it taught us the business a little better than they knew on those ends because the labels just took them in and did
Right.
everything for them. We did everything ourselves. So,
Right.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, right? Because the independent rapper was at this point, the independent artist was born, right? But out of need,
Yeah.
out of the need because of the lack of support,
Right.
the lack of hip hop in general. It wasn't on the radio, and I remember those days too. I don't want to be telling my age, but I remember it wasn't like that. We didn't
Right.
have, all of these. We have classics now that we'll go ahead and hit sometimes when it's Throwback Thursday. But a lot of these songs were getting played on the radio. It wasn't a hip hop station. You had pop stations, you had rock stations out. So being out here and trying to put this music and trying to distribute it was a whole different barrier that you had to sit there and do yourself and find your way.
Yeah.
I also want to get into your head a little bit about just the art of rapping, right? Because, when you're telling stories and you're using metaphors, and when you can descriptively see something from words, tell me how important that is for you to be able to articulate that in every piece of your music.
Rap has always been about telling a story. And when you tell a story, even when you're not rapping, if I tell y'all about something that I did on the way here, I have to explain it to y'all to where in a way that when I'm saying it, y'all are visualizing it. Whether it's funny, whether it's serious or whatever. So rap is the same way. You had artists back in the days like Jimmy Spice or Super Rhymes, and he would tell these stories and just you see it in your mind. So it was very important for the rapper to be able to relay what's in his mind and then transfer it into the mind of the listener so they can get out of it the same thing that I got out of it. And it's crazy that you asked me that question. Because this shameless plug, the name of my new project is called Audio Optics.
Ooh.
So it's speaking on the concept of making people visualize what I'm saying. You seeing what, you see what I'm saying, you hear what I'm saying, that's exactly what it is. So that's real important. If I can't ride with you, if I can't go into your head and see what you're saying, then I'm gonna lose interest in the story. Yeah.
And do you feel like that's been a lost art in the last few years?
What? Yeah, absolutely. people ain't telling stories like they used to. I think it's more so industry artists are feeling the pressure to just make a hit, to just make that next song that's probably gonna pop off in the club or whatever. And it's just my opinion. But back in the days, the focus was centered more around putting together and crafting a complete album. So we gonna have the club song, you gonna have the little lyrical songs, the conscious song, but you also gonna have those 1 or 2 songs where you tell that story, whether it's something serious or whether it's something that just a product of your own imagination. You're gonna put that together, but you don't really hear a lot of rappers telling stories in they songs no more, on their albums anymore, and that's a shame.
Yeah.
Because I never abandoned that aspect of rap. You gonna always get a couple of stories on any project that I do. And I wish more artists would do it, because when you listen to a lot of the songs that come out now, you hear the talent and the imagination that they have to rap about other stuff. I think that they could come up with some dope stories if they just put their mind to it.
Yeah. And you mentioned imagination a few times. There is a lot of pressure out here where I hear a lot of artists, oh, well, if you ain't lived it, don't rap it. But I've always felt like, music is an art. It's an art form. And whether you're telling a biography, an autobiography, or you're writing a story in a book, a lot of that comes from imagination, fantasy sometimes. So how do you feel about that? You feel like it should still, hey, it's an art.
Look, if we had to go under the rule that if you haven't lived it, don't rap it, it wouldn't hardly even be any rappers going. Because a lot of the cats have talked about things that they didn't live. But to your point, yeah, sometimes I don't have to have lived it to have seen it. I might have saw the dude get shot in the head right in front of me, and I'm talking about that. But also, you can still craft a story in your mind that can set up a moral for somebody, and it may have never happened in your own personal life, but it may have happened to somebody else's in a whole other state, in a whole other country, right in your city. So it just don't be far-fetched when you come up with something. Don't present yourself like you are just some astronomical gangster that you're not or whatever, but at the same time, try to lay out the story so people can get something out of it, even if you yourself may not have experienced it.
What do you hope that people get out of listening to your music?
I just hope that it improves them as a person. You know, I like you said earlier, you know, I've been doing this for 4 decades.
Woo.
But every song and all the music that I made has not always been the most positive music. You know, I made a lot of music that was just terrible, you know, that's trash, because I come from those different stages, and that's part of my evolution. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you want that scale to be where your good outweighs your bad in terms of your content. So I want people to be able to learn and grow from listening to my music. I want my music to be something that people can say they were made better by listening to. Like, okay, that helped me through this situation, because I do speak about multiple situations, multiple scenarios that happen in people's life, and try to offer solutions in the song instead of just talking about what's going on. So the biggest compliment a person can give to me, they could talk about lyricism and all that. That's cool. I appreciate that. But the biggest compliment that a person can give to me is if they tell me that something I said in the song changed their life for the better. That's what you want, because our youth are impressionable, and it's too many negative things already pulling on them to drive them the wrong way. It has to be a counter. It has to be a balance that works against that, to give them something else to look at, to say, all right, I can go this way too if I want to.
Man, I also want to talk a little bit about, let's go back and talk about South Park Coalition.
Yeah.
And all the members.
Right.
I mean, it's just so many to name, and so many have made an impact. Because I'm from San Antonio, and you know, even out there, you know, everybody knew who South Park Coalition was.
Right.
You know, a lot of the members, the K-Rinos, the Point Blanks, you know, SPKs, you know, and so it's like, when you guys, it's a coalition.
Yeah, no
I
doubt.
mean, it's not a group. It's not a. It's just a coalition. It's like a movement.
Right.
So when you guys were out here moving in these streets out here in Houston, you know, it's like an army. You know, it's a family.
Right.
So tell me about that experience and the brotherhood with the South Park Coalition.
Yeah, we the first clique to come out of the city, possibly to come out this region in the South. But it was just a collective effort of guys originally from South Park, but we branched off to where it don't matter where you from now. You know, if you got that connection with us. But like you say, the name, you talk about Gangsta Nip, you talking about Point Blank, Dope E, PSK 13, Murder One, Rapper K, all these different artists that came in those days that were battle rappers, laying a foundation in this city, making records, putting out classic records, guys that were affiliated with us like Street Military, Cliche, and it made such a difference in the city because people gravitated towards that movement. It wasn't just an organization or a clique of rappers, it was a movement. People wanted to be a part of the SPC even if they didn't rap, and a lot of them were. So to be the first to do that, you know, SPC as far as a clique, you know, Rap a Lot as far as a label, but that was it. That was it in those early days. So to be the first to do that and to even set a template that that my brother Screw followed later on. You know, Screw told me out his own mouth. He said, I built the SUC off of the template of the SPC.
Wow.
You know, so that was an honor to hear that, you know, to know that after all that time, you know. So we feel like we just didn't make a mark. Speaking in the past tense, we still making a mark because we still active. Just finished the South Park Coalition album that's getting ready to drop. All of our members are still putting out music, still working, still doing their thing.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, still in demand. Phone still ringing. And that's unheard of in a lot of cases after 35 plus years. A lot of artists, they come and go and they long forgotten. But, you know, we was in this for the long haul.
And also pouring into the community.
Yeah.
There are so many people that have been, you know, affected and touched by your movement.
Right.
And so tell me how important that is to continue to pour into the community. You're not just out here doing music, like you're pouring back in. How important is that to you?
It's part of the growth. It's part of the evolution process. When I was telling y'all earlier about some of the ratchet songs that we made back in the days, you know, we grew out of that because you grow out of that as men and women just maturing in life.
Right.
But I was exposed to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad at 22 years old in 1992.
Wow.
And when I heard those teachings, I was like, man, I can't rap the same no more. So a lot of the things that I learned being under that umbrella was now incorporated into my music. Same as with Gangsta Nip, same as with Dope E, same with other brothers who were around us who picked that up as well. So in 2014, my big brother, Dr. Abdul Halim Muhammad, he is the Southwest Regional Minister under Minister Farrakhan in Chicago. And the minister had brought in rappers, mainstream rappers from all over the world to talk about ending the beef in hip hop. Mm-hmm. And he brought a lot of his ministers in and said, y'all take this this model and take it back to your cities. So what was born out of that is an organization called ARC, which stands for Artists Respecting Community. And that's the goal. Everything you just said, the community work, fusing with the music, using our names and our platform as artists to generate attention to get out here and do some of this community work. So the ARC is in place, South Park Coalition is in place, and all of those things, unbeknownst to us, were gonna be a part of our journey and eventually part of our resume, because it is about community. You know, hip hop in the beginning was about bringing people together and about putting out a positive message. So we have to not just rap about it, we have to be seen being active out here, because it's one thing for these young people to see their favorite rappers or to hear their favorite rappers, go to a concert, buy some music, some merch, but when they can see some of their favorite artists actually in their apartment complex,
right,
giving away food, you know, helping somebody out, or even doing things anonymously, all those things make a difference, and it gives that young person who may not have any hope or may not believe they can get out of the condition they're in. It gives them a hope, and it makes them understand, well, you know, this dude ain't just taking my money for his music. He's actually coming and giving something back to us.
Right. And that's definitely one of the things I love about, you know, SPC, you know, me being here about 8 years now, and then just witnessing it for myself and knowing that you guys have always been supporters, even of other independent artists, even the new generation out here, even stuff that we've done with Hustletown Network. You guys have always come through, show love. Even, you know, when it comes to Latinos, you guys have fused along with the Latino movement out here. You know, so even, you know, back with the aggravated, let's touch on that a little bit and talk about even that Latino movement and how that meshed with SPC.
We wouldn't be who we are if it wasn't for the Latino community. I mean, just from day one. And I got to shout out to my brothers Grim and Shadow, because they are South Park Coalition members. Grim, Shadow, Falero, Ike Man, all those brothers from the early 90s. And I think that may have been the introduction to us, because when we came together with those brothers, of course, how it works with any families that come to like a marriage, the two families are gonna come together. So the people who supported Grim in the Latino community, now they got a chance to hear all of us. And ever since then, our Latino fan base has just been so supportive, so loyal, and so knowledgeable of our history and what we do as a South Park Coalition. And it's crazy. I was hooping yesterday. I was busting them boys up in the gym yesterday. And one of my homies, he mentioned that. He would say, man, y'all get a lot of love from the Latino community. I was like, it's always been like that. Always been like that. We've done shows where it ain't hardly no black folks there, but you know, but you know, Latinos coming in
we'll
strong.
Pull up.
Yeah, so we've always, because that's part of our brotherhood, that's part of our family, and we've always been appreciative of that.
Man, and we appreciate you, K-Rino. If you're just joining us right now, we're speaking with SPC, South Park Coalition, K-Rino here on 97.9 The Box. And if there's anything that people need to take away from this interview, anything that people need to know about Houston rap, the art of rap, K-Rino, what do you have to say about that? What should people know? Yeah,
as far as Houston rap, I'm proud that we carved our own lane. We carved our own way. Regardless of what people may say what Houston rap really is, because people will have their own opinions on what Houston rap really is based on the era that they came into. We come from further back. So my answer to that would always be lyricism and battle rapping and aggressiveness and skills. Some people may say, well, man, you know, we represent the coming down and the sipping, drinking, whatever it is, you know. But as far as myself, I just want to inject that, look, at the end of the day, we got to come together as a I don't want to say I'll say a rap community. We got to make sure that we don't fall into the traps that a lot of artists have fell into, and that we continue to work together to be seen with each other despite what clique we. And we've been pretty good at that, to be honest with you. You know, Houston, we've had a few little beefs here and there, but for the most part, if you look at us in totality, everybody's been pretty cool. You can look at any artist that's known out of this city, and everybody's pretty much worked with everybody. And so I don't really buy into that myth that everybody's, oh man, we don't stick together. You know, nobody sticks together 100% perfectly as we should, but I think our percentages are higher than people give us credit for.
Well said. And like you said earlier, you do have a new album out, Audio Optics. And that just dropped.
Yeah, just dropped Friday night on the digital platform. Yeah, no question. No question.
Man, it's got 16 songs on there. Audio Optics, I mean, like you mentioned earlier, you know, we're going to be able to visualize audio, right? Like that's the important part of rap. But what else do you want to explain on what people can expect on this project?
Just the versatility of song topics. That's another thing that's lost in rap. I think a lot of times artists come out and their albums are one long continuation of basically the same topic on different beats. Yeah. You know, and we never been, we wasn't raised like that. Every song is gonna be something totally different, something you can get some out of. Some, like we talked about, some dope storytelling, some lyricism, some real life stuff that's gonna hit you here. But that's the key. It's always about being versatile and being relatable, you know, saying something that people can feel. You know, it's like eating food. You know, you want to give people something that's good and easy for them to digest, and that's going to have nutrients in it. So we're giving you some intellectual nutrients in every song that we drop. So you get the album on all the digital sites, and for those of y'all who are old school like me, you can still get physical copies from our website, which is southparkcoalitionsite.net. So y'all go support that.
Well, we're going to support a track tonight. So we do have a single. K-Rino, if you want to do us the honor and introduce it.
Now, this single is from a previous project, but in the spirit of what we're doing right now with Houston and 50 years of hip-hop, I wanted to jam the Houston Is, which is basically a history lesson that I laid out a few years ago. Shout out to the homie Tex who shot the video. But it's basically just talking about, from my era, what built the city up to now, and a lot of the names that some people that are younger may not be familiar with, but people who was around gonna say, oh yeah, I remember everything you're talking about. So that's Houston Is.
Man, I love that song. I got goosebumps right now just thinking about it. It's gonna make me tear up right now just because I've seen the video and everything. I gotta go watch that video. But we're gonna play the song right now. Houston Is, K-Rino on 97.9 The Box. Thank you for being here.
No doubt. Appreciate y'all for having me.
Breaking them off with a new Hustletown Network exclusive.
So, K-Rino, I know you've got your new project out, A Blessing and a Burden. Right. And I know you've been in Houston all your life. You're a Houston native. Yeah. I got one last question for you. Okay. What does Houston mean to you?
Man, that's a good question. What does Houston mean to me?
Breaking them off with a new Hustletown Network exclusive.
City of Houston
on 97.9 The Box.
Get on your feet, man.
Midi Monsters.
Salute. Even if you wasn't born and raised out here, you might have moved out here, you still Houston.
Holding it down for the legends who paved the way.
All good. Houston is G'd up from the start. Everybody hanging out Sunday in McGregor. McGregor Park. Listen, Houston is third ward to the SWAT. 14 and a half mixtape by Daryl Scott. Say it, Houston is keeping bread in your pocket, riding with the home team. Astros, Oilers, and Rockets, home of the soldiers. So it ain't no folding. Legendary 34s, Akeem, Earl, and Nolan. Jumping out at the club sharp as an arrow. Rhinestone Wrangler, Chocolate Town, and Carrols. Coke cans to get an Astro World, no ticket. And you ain't from H-Town if you don't know Wicked Cricket said.
Houston is still my number one city. Houston is the only town I wanna live in. Always show me love from the beginning. Ain't nobody like us, that's why we still winning.
I'm paying homage because it's only right for me to do. French's chicken on Scott, we do it for TSU. From the past to the present, shouting out to the greats. Still love Five Slammer Jammer, repping U of H. Who remember Club Boomerang? Now I'm reminiscing, killing shows with the whole South Park coalition. Jay Prince had the vision, so we started believing. Ghetto boys made the whole world respect our region. Mo City, the fifth ward, yeah, I know you loving this street. Military, please, can I have another hit? Got our own style, ain't no place like it in the world. And the whole planet got screwed up by Robert Earl. Crazy weather, but still better than any place we know. Shout out to my Mexican family, my Latinos. We the trendsetters, we stay ahead of the game. Heim Clark got way too many legends to name. That's why
Houston is still my number one city. My number one city. Houston is the only town I wanna live in. The only town I wanna live in. Always show me love from the beginning. Always show me love. Ain't nobody like us. That's why we still winning. That's why we still winning.
most of the year, H-Town be hotter than the oven. Remember the screw shop back when it was on Cullen? Great tapes and a screwed up click, wrecking them beats. Kids Jam was the first radio station from the streets. You can pick any record label, it's all H-Town. Rap a lot, switch a house, big time, a jam down. Dope house, sucker free. The homies at Rec Shop, Perry on Suave House, straight profit and shortstop. Say it, Houston is Greens Point and Acres home. Playing high school football games inside the dome. Slabs with trunks rattling, folks chasing the paper. Club Gucci's all the way to Jamaica. Going to different parks, hooping Timmy Chan after. Back in the days, loading up and riding to the Kappa. Still laughing and ranking even on our down days. Buying your favorite rappers, new album from Soundwaves. Catching the metro to travel throughout the town. Couldn't afford a Galleria, we just went to walk around. When the bus stopped running, that dark we used to walk. Let's take it to the north, Studewood and do some park. Mr. A's and Sean's cornbreads came later. Every rapper trying to be seen on street flavor. Every hood apartment complex I showed up in. Houston taught me the game when I didn't know nothing. That's why
Houston is still my number one city. Houston is the only town I wanna live in. Always show me love from the beginning. Ain't nobody like us, that's why we still winning. So throw your juices in the air. South side, north side, can you tell me how you feel? H-Town, H-Town, H-Town. So throw your juices in the air. Mo City, Harm Park, can you tell me how you feel? H-Town, 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 H-Town.
Get more exclusive Hustletown Network content at theboxhouston.com under the music tab.
That's what Southside players.